You should probably be more open about the Harris campaign's ad buy on the Majority Report too. Maybe that's why you were cheering so hard for a woman who shooed away any left-wing activists who wanted to ask her legitimate questions about her foreign policy in the Middle East. So this is a pretty wild accusation. In this case, it would be really easy for you to produce evidence, right? Because there obviously would exist Harris campaign ad reads on their show. And it's not a thing that happened, so there's no videos to show there. All right, I got to give y'all a little bit of background to the story if you don't know where this all comes from. It's wild, but if you don't know, Majority Report and TYT are not really on friendly terms right now. Well, at least just not Anna and Cenk. They've been going back and forth, and lots of shots have been fired. Lots of shots, and some stranger than others. And this one might be one of the weirdest ones. This starts with Emma Vigeland saying, "Gotta love the performative piousness of Polymarket populists coming for an ally and movement partner, Fran, because she posted Cenk's own words coming out of his mouth. Go back to your roots ranking celebrity camel toes." And then Anna responds with, "I remember Emma telling me verbatim, I never have to work a day in my life if I don't want to because of how wealthy her family is. Your mom threw a nice little fundraiser for Senator Gillibrand in 2019, right? I get why you're so attached to a party that fucked over the working class over and over again. So I don't really expect her to understand what it's like to live in a neighborhood that's been overrun with criminals due to the policies she preaches in the name of gaining social capital. Fran did a hatchet job on Cenk, even though he was kind enough to waste his time going on her show in the name of openness and understanding. I knew he was making a mistake. These people aren't interested in building coalitions. They're not open to understanding anything. They don't even give a shit about winning policy goals." Now that we're 15 days or so into the Trump presidency, this is all just so much wilder too to see in amongst everything. So obviously lots of wild stuff. Even if this was true, by the way, and pretty fucked up thing to be revealing personal conversations just to, again, get social capital as it's being described here. I gotta say, if Emma is from a very super wealthy family, then, awesome for being a class trader and actually speaking up for other people, despite that the fact that you're comfortable. I think more people should be honest about that. I think there's a huge weird thing amongst especially Republicans and conservatives where they pretend that they came from the rags to riches. They always got to be like, I'm from a poor, humble, working class family. I never knew where my next meal was coming on the dinner table. It's like, your dad was literally a physician. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, I never had help growing my business. I worked hard, and you got $100,000 as a gift from your parents. That's more than some people see in their lifetime. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, I came from poverty. I did. I hate that shit. And I get why people try to do that as politicians, but it's still so ridiculous. So here is the real interesting part. Emma, you should probably be more open about the Harris campaign's ad buy on the Majority Report too. Maybe that's why you were cheering so hard for a woman who shooed away any left-wing activists who wanted to ask her legitimate questions about her foreign policy in the Middle East. So this is a pretty wild accusation. Not one that, by the way, the Majority Report would have denied. I mean, they're not secretive. They're not like, we would never advertise Hello Tushy. It is against our morals, beliefs, and principles. We're above that. Then you'll never be able to catch us. It's like, well, here's the ad read. It's really easy to do, to disprove. And in this case, it would be really easy for you to produce evidence, right? Because there obviously would exist Harris campaign ad reads on their show. And it's not a thing that happened, so there's no videos to show there. And then Seder says, "You have lost your mind. This is 100% unmitigated, absolute lie. Let's make a Polymarket bet on it." So this was, I guess, the start, because it's a real thing now, everybody. I now get to present to you the Polymarket Studios. I thought Emma Vigeland posted this as a meme, by the way. I thought she just made this, or, basically found it somewhere else and was reposting it. I didn't think it was real. It's real. There is a Polymarket Studios bet on, did Kamala buy ads on the Majority Report? Yes is a 7% chance. That's been down 16. It started out pretty good. I mean, it started to climb as high as, wow, on February 3rd, it was as high as 40%. And then just plummeted. I guess it was, I already closed it, but I want to see when, Sam wrote his tweet. Maybe that's correlated to when Sam wrote his tweet, and then as it continues to go over time, it has unfortunately been slumping, but as of the 11th, it gained a little bit of traction. It bumped back up, and now it's unfortunately still kind of hovering around the under 10%, and we're at the current 7%. That was on February 2nd. Oh, okay, so we have direct, I know that correlation does not equal causation, but in this case, I would be willing to maybe, I don't know, hypothesize that there is actually a correlation between these two, because again, it's going from nearly 40% dropping down to here. So here's a whole bunch of people who have bought shares in this bet. Polymarket Studios, the cryptocurrency gambling website, essentially allows you to buy shares on the bet that you want to. I don't know which crypto they're backed by, maybe Ethereum or something, but effectively these are a bunch of people who are looking to make a lot of money. So I didn't, again, know this was real, which is why I asked, is this real? And it 100% is a real thing. So here we have it. So each share, I guess, if I want to buy a yes share, it's only 10 cents. Oh, okay, so that's how the system works. If I wanted to gamble and say, yes, this is a real thing, I would buy a share, and my share would only be 10 cents. If I want to say, no, this is not real, I buy a share, and I buy that share nearly $1. So it's nearly, you know, 1 in 10 odds is what you're gambling with here. And, you know, you can start at $1, $20, $100, or just max it out. One of the reasons I've said the Polymarket Studios and the very concept behind it is so perverse is that there are people who are directly going to be able to influence Polymarket Studios based on their own actions. For example, there's an entire section at the very top, still there since its inception, called Elon Tweets, where you get to gamble on Elon's tweets. Which, if you happen to be a person who owns a lot of cryptocurrency, say like Elon Musk, and the gambling that people are doing is going to be based directly on something that you have control over, that you can manipulate at any time. I mean, wouldn't it make a lot of sense for you to put lots of money into gambling on something where you get to choose the outcome? Like, just imagine that. Imagine if you are a sports team and then you were like, hey, by the way, we're just going to just lie on the ground today during the game. Why? I know we worked so hard to get to the Super Bowl. We've really put in those hours. This is a monumentous moment, the eyes of the world, hundreds of millions of viewers, but we're just going to lie on the floor. We're just going to lie down and then let the clock run out. Okay? Yes, this has nothing to do with me, your coach, putting, again, hundreds of millions of dollars on a bet of which I can, you know, recoup a lot of the money on it. Nothing like that. And I know this all sounds super weird and shady and illegal, but apparently for something like Polymarket Studios, it's just another day. Just another day on the old gambling website. But yeah, I guess it peaked at 37%, 37 cents per share on February 3rd, at which point, I guess, post Sam's tweet, it plummeted in its value, and now it's down to 7 cents? Yeah, we're at 7 cents of $1,271 in volume. I watch this show almost daily. No way they're in the pocket of Kamala Camp. What is this? You know what? Oxymoron, very fair. Very fair. A question I think all of us have been asking for some time. Is it real? Will Lance mute himself this stream? Oh, you're gambling on me right now, live? This is happening. Wow. And the yeses are at 22,280 and the no's are at 10,000. If you're wondering on YouTube what's happening, it's a gamble going on right now on. But see, I have power here. I can control the outcome right now just by pushing a button. I didn't push the button. That wasn't a mute. I was just moving my mouth. That wasn't a mute. See, I was using my control in this case. Just that. That's not a mute. That's just me moving. It does not count as a mute. So there you go. Again, I can manipulate the markets themselves. Now I'm thinking we should start putting some real money on this, and then maybe I should put some money on this. Why not? It does seem a little unfair because I get to decide the outcome. I could push the button right here and something will happen. Am I going to push the button or am I going to push a different button? Oh, that was a different button. I'm not muted right now. It's not the right one. No, we're in the Alex Jones room. Not muted. Not muted. Still doing good. Yeah. Wow. It's almost as if I'm influencing the outcome of this result. Because now look at how eager people are getting. We're already at 558,249 to 24,000. Oh, sorry, 34,000. Some no's are getting more brave, more brazen. Ooh, people are feeling lucky. What's gonna happen? Does it count that I've already muted myself this stream, by the way? Hate to ruin the party, everybody. If you didn't notice, like when I first started the show, I muted for like half a second. I caught myself before the chat caught myself. I was like, oh shit, I was muted. Hey, does that, because if so, Unfortunately, I mean, I hate to keep manipulating everything there, but that if that doesn't count, if it does count, and then we got to wait until after, we'll see. But do you see how absurd this all is? I'm glad this is happening in real time, so everyone can actually recognize how ridiculous the concept of Polymarket Studios is, and how dangerous this is. Anyways, I did want to watch a video, I think, related to this that I had not seen yet.
I'm Cenk, and I'm running for president. And I'm going to lose. On the other hand, it's actually, no joke, super important for you to vote for me. Now, let me explain to you why through a series of curious analogies. In a primary, your votes turn into something really valuable called a delegate. The delegates decide who wins. Did you know there's a really good chance that Joe Biden's going to drop out after the primaries? Interesting. At that point, these guys fight. JJ, unique, hit it. Go for it, Cenk. The more you have of these, the more power you have within the Democratic Party. If Biden releases his delegates after he drops out, then we're going to pick a great candidate against Donald Trump. And the delegates are awarded to? Is that when I win? No. Get real. Those are party insiders. They're in there right now going, which corporate guy should we pick? And then they're going to send a fire engine to screw up our ads. You know how they are. You see that? Party insiders, boo. Those delegates are really valuable. If we collect enough of them, they turn into an infinity stone. Yes, I switched analogy.
So many references. Yeah, I mean, first it was Dune, and then it was like some movie premiere, and then the Academy Awards, and now it's Marvel. You see, I like this. He's explaining it to the common man. This is called populism, all right? And it's popping, and it's allowing me to absorb all this. The message is clear. Donald Trump, he's a dangerous person. So dangerous that one of the hosts of TYT has to run against him, run a presidential campaign, get lots of money and donations to get that campaign off the ground in order to, you know, smash glass in case of emergency to stop a, quote, fascist. Yes, a fascist, an evil fascist. That was how Cenk described him.
But roll with it. And these guys really need those infinity stones to become the nominee. And if we have one of the infinity stones, they have to come and ask us for it. And do we just give it away? No. At that point, we'll have something that they really need. So we negotiate for something that we want. And what is that? How about ending the bombing in Gaza? How about higher minimum wage or paid family leave or lower drug prices? How come no one ever asked for those things?
You know what's sad is that, like, if he hadn't done this entire Polymarket turn into being like, hey, by the way, MAGA's not as scary as you think. They're populist. We got to have a beer. I got my new strategy going. If he hadn't done all that, he would have been really good at being like, you know, a YouTube video essay explainer guy. Like, you know, it's charming enough. Has the pop-ups, he's using props, he's getting into it, he's using, you know, pop culture references to get everyone engaged. He could have really, you know, got a lot more people involved in the process itself by, again, explaining really complex things in simple ways that people can digest.
But if we have delegates, we ask for those things and we finally get them. So please vote for me in the primaries, Cenk Uygur. Yes, it's actually spelled that way. So that we can collect delegates, turn them into an infinity stone, and then turn that into policies we absolutely love and need, and maybe even bring a little joy into the world. And remember, the primaries are a safe space where Donald Trump is not on the ballot, so you can safely pick any Democrat you like. So if you want peace or popular progressive policies, or just to get the Democrats to finally do something they promised, go vote in the primaries and take the power back! I'm Cenk Uygur, and I approve this ad because
you could have had this timeline, America. What did you do? Look, you rejected Cenkmanium. You could have had all of this, you know? Instead, now we're stuck in the timeline where we have to deal with Donald Trump when this could have been your president.
Wouldn't it be amazing if at least one Democrat fought for you? Paid family leave.
He's having fun. I know. That's the sad thing about all this is that honestly, if it hadn't been for the whole heel turn, if it hadn't been for him now basically acting as either at best a useful idiot or a full-blown collaborator of fascism, I would directly be like, hey, by the way, he's having fun. You know, not enough people do. People take life too seriously. We should have more fun. This is silly. He's trying to, you know, actually advocate for some pretty important things that is really important. I like those policies. This is a neat way to explain politics to people who might not be really directly involved and think, think, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense. I mean, I hadn't really thought of it that way, but we got to collect all the Oscars to turn them into the Infinity Stone, which we can then use as leverage. So because they got to have all the stones, and so we could bargain at that point and get better results, better democracy. All good, you know.
Higher minimum wage, lower drug prices, and gerrymandering, and money in politics, and
I hope all these props weren't like directly paid for by the campaign. I hope you brought your own Infinity Stone to the set. All right, I'm just hoping that it's not like, so they got about $100,000 in donations, and of those $100,000, there was a lot of money that had to go into the making of the videos. So unfortunately, yes, we did have to buy Cenk and Infinity Gauntlet and a bunch of stones.
the bombing of Gaza and the occupation. Now that's power. Did it work? Did it work? Is Biden gone? No. Trump's gone? Even better! Thanos for the win!
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a Polymarket bet on the Polymarket bet, but there probably should be. We should have a bet within a bet. We should be able to bet on the bet so people can bet on whether or not they think it's a good bet or not.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/theserfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincel, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.